guys, this is Coach Lowe and this is Geometry, and we're going to talk about section 3.1, parallel lines and transversals. And so let's go ahead and get started with a few notes. Alright, so first of all, this again is section 3.1, parallel lines and transversals. So first of all, let's talk about what does it mean when we say parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that are in the same plane, so they're coplanar, and they do not ever cross, they don't ever intersect. So in algebra, you learned that they had exactly the same slope. So parallel lines never cross, have the same slope. They're usually marked. A lot of times in your book, they'll be marked with a red mark, and they'll have little arrows on them. Sometimes it'll be black also, but they'll have little arrows. So here's lines M and L. And L is parallel to M. That's the symbol. Remember, perpendicular looks like this, which means they intersect at 90-degree angles. Parallel looks like that, right? So the arrows will tell you that those are parallel. Let me go ahead and draw another line through here just so you can kind of see the difference. And let's make this one, we'll make it green. So there's a line intersecting lines M and L, and it is obviously not parallel to M and L. It's also not perpendicular, but we have just some different things going on. All right, so parallel lines in the same plane, and they never cross. So I have line L is parallel to line M. All right, so now let's talk about skew lines. Skew lines are lines that do not intersect, and they're not in the same plane. So not intersecting and non-coplanar. So they don't intersect and they're not in the same plane. So let's say that we have a box. Maybe we have a box. All right. This line, line segment, let's call it AB. And this line, got some squigglies going on here. This line back here, let's call it CD. These two lines would be skew lines. They are not in the same plane. If you look at AB, it is in this plane here at the front. And then CD is in the plane in the back, or you could talk about it being in the plane at the top. But nonetheless, they are not in the same plane. So they are called skew lines. They're not intersecting and they're not in the same plane. Parallel planes are planes that will never intersect. So you can think about like the floor and the ceiling. If your ceiling is straight across, the floor and the ceiling in our classroom would be planes that never intersect. The walls opposite each other. Walls that in our classroom, they're never going to intersect. And so those would be some parallel planes. If you hold one piece of paper above the other piece flat, parallel to each other. You can give me all kinds of demonstrations here on parallel planes. All right, next thing that I would like to talk to you about is when I have two lines and then a transversal that cuts through them. And so let me just go back to my first slide. This would be considered a transversal. Right there, that green line. So a transversal is a line that intersects two or more coplanar lines. So the yellow lines are the coplanar lines. They're also parallel to each other. Then I have a transversal that intersects those. It's a transversal because it's intersecting two lines that lie in the same plane. All right, when that happens, we have four angles here that form and then four angles here that form. So let me get to another screen and we'll talk about those real quick. So I'm not going to draw parallel lines, and I did that on purpose. So you're probably, yeah, right, you did. But really, seriously, I did. All right, and then we'll go ahead, we'll say that this is line Q and R. And then let's draw a transversal here. So if you're taking notes with me, you can draw a transversal wherever you want to. But I'm going to draw mine there. And I want to talk about these angles. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, I'm just going to talk about some terminology. I don't know the measures of these angles, and it doesn't really matter right now. We'll kind of get into that tomorrow. I just want to talk about where these angles are in relation to Q and R in the transversal. So this is my transversal. All right, so these four angles, do you see that they're in between Q and R? These are called interior. They are inside Q and R. The two lines that are coplanar, they are inside those. These lines on the outside of Q and R are called exterior angles. So I have interior angles inside Q and R, and I have exterior angles outside of Q and R. All right, I also can talk about them in relation to the transversal. So 4 and 6 are alternating the transversal. One's on one side, one's on the other side. So when I talk about angle 4 and angle 6, I can describe them two ways. They are inside the lines Q and R, and they are also alternating the transversal. We call those alternate interior angles. All right, could you pick out another pair of alternate interior angles? Inside Q and R, and then jumping across the yellow line, the transversal. Exactly. Angle 5 and angle 3 are also alternate interior angles. Good job. All right, so alternate interior angles inside the lines, alternating the transversal. Can you pick out alternate exterior angles? So I want to alternate the yellow line, alternate the transversal, and I want to be outside Q and R. So that's exactly right. Angles 2 and angle 8, angle 2 and angle 8, and then angle 1 and angle 7. Good job. Nice work. All right. Consecutive interior. Consecutive interior means on the same side and inside. All right, so consecutive interior, right in a row. So we already know we're working with interior angles. It has to be 4, 3, 5, or 6, right? Consecutive interior, I like to call this same side. Same side of the transversal. How those other ones were alternating the transversal, these are now on the same side of the transversal. So, same side interior, angle 3 and angle 6. Can you find two more that would be same side interior? 3 and 6, and exactly 4 and 5. Good job. All right, so same side interior or consecutive interior, angles 3 and 6, 4 and 5. All right, last one, and I promise I'll leave you alone for a while. All right, the last one is corresponding. Corresponding angles. These are angles that are in exactly the same spot. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, if I were to pick up these four angles, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and drop them down here on top of 5, 6, 7, and 8, what would be in the same general area? So, in other words, above Q, above line Q, and to the left of the transversal, above line R and to the left of the transversal. Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. What corresponds with angle 2? What angle corresponds with angle 2? Yep, angle 2 and angle 6. All right, could you pick out the other two for me? The other two corresponding angles. Good job. Angle 4 and angle 8. And the other one is? Yep, angle 3 and angle 7. Good job. All right, so I want you to draw a box around the word alternate. So alternate interior, or you can draw it around alternate exterior. Where you've written alternate, I want a box around one of those, and I want you to make sure that you show that to me. All right, so when you come back to class, I'll have a few problems for you guys to work, and then we'll move on to 3-2. Good job, guys. This is Coach Lowe, and I'm out.